Hello and welcome to this other edition or another edition of How to Train Driving Instructors, the complete guide. Now, no complete guide would be complete without at least mentioning ORDIT. So today we're going to talk about ORDIT, the ORDIT register. This is really the last one in this series of units before you start looking at the 1% guides, which are based on the competencies. So this is the last one of the training ones really. So let's have a look at ORDIT. What's it all about? Well, okay, we know there's a legal requirement in order to charge money or money's worth for driving lessons. You have to be an approved driving instructor or a trainee driving instructor, and that's the law of the land, and it says a criminal offence to take money for driving lessons or money's worth without it. It is not compulsory to be on the ORDIT register in order to train driving instructors. In fact, the moment you qualify as a driving instructor, you're actually able to teach driving instructors during driving instructor training. If we're being really strictly pedantic, everybody is qualified. To teach part 3 and to teach the part 1, you don't even need to be a driving instructor or registered as a PDI. You may struggle to do it properly, but you can actually, you can actually do it without, because the law says, remember, you must be, in order to teach people to drive, and that's the law, it's people to drive, not people to teach part 3. So you can actually do this from, literally from when you're qualified. And to me, I've always thought there's a little benefit in people getting involved in instructor training quite early on, because sometimes a lot of the rules, a lot of the stuff is fresh in their mind. They, in theory, are up to date with the competencies, they're up to date with etc. They haven't got the experience, but hopefully with a full diary, people are gaining that experience. But it's a good start to at least start looking at becoming an instructor trainer quite early on and starting there. One of the things by doing this course, you will find also you will improve your own actual standards and standards grade, because you should start to understand the competencies better, and if you're being positive, you're going to apply it to your driving lessons. So benefits of ORDIT, really, it's voluntary, completely voluntary. It has been. They've talked about making it compulsory for some time. You get the additional recognition of being able to place yourself on the DVSA register. You get an extra badge in the car, and it's something to really help and to push if you want, etc. The sad fact is, when I did my research back in 2010, when I looked at the complete overhaul of the instructor training system, that people were no more likely to pass with an ORDIT trained instructor than they were with a non-ORDIT trained instructor. The process of obtaining an ORDIT badge was largely paperwork and going through just processes really. So it was a bit of a problem, and I've had instructors have come to me who failed two what they were known as check tests then, who'd come to me and failed them quite miserably, very, very badly. And I always thought the irony was that on the bottom of their failure sheet it said that they really should seek the services of an ORDIT registered instructor. And when I asked them who was their closest ORDIT instructor, knowing the answer, it was themselves, because they were themselves in fact an ORDIT registered instructor who were failing standard, what they called check test, quite badly, and I believe the thing goes on today now. They have brought measures into place that if you do fail your standards check, of course you could be removed from the ORDIT register now. Let's go on a bit more. Managed by the DVSA. That one. So basically today they've changed the rule. You have to be an ADI with a grade A at your latest standards check test. Okay, that doesn't include the learner, your first one or your qualifying one. So remember, this isn't to be train instructors, this is to become ORDIT registered. Okay, so anybody can train instructors, but to become ORDIT instructors, they're saying they now want you to be a grade A at your latest standards check. Okay, as I said there, does not include the grade 8 on your Part 3 test. And the DVSA suitable looks at things like your pupil passes, your experience, complaints and things like that. They build this into the process to see whether or not they feel that you would be a suitable process. The process is already in place because of course they use it now for the standards check. If there's any alerts or flags that come up on the system for you. So it's a process they can have a look at quite well. Documents to study is look at the, I mean, by far you need to be looking at the National Standards of Driver Training and the syllabus, etc. And following these units in another section are the 1%, how to improve 1% at a time on each of the standards and an explanation of that. So certainly the national standards, certainly the approved books, the Highway Code, Driving Industrial Skills, etc., etc. Move away from the non-approved ones such as the ROSPA ones, etc., roadcraft, etc. Remembering you are teaching people to teach learners, and we teach learners the standard for driving, and we use the official books, etc. And you know, if you're not already using a trainer, then consider using a registered audit trainer for help and guidance on how they got through it. Obviously you're using my course, so you can use us as well, but if you want, I might be able to arrange for a trainer, depending on where you are, to pop in and have a look at your assessment later on. So just imagine you're thinking, I really want to do audit. One of the first things you need to do is schedule the qualifying assessment, book an appointment. Okay, so first of all, you go online for this, through your thing, you go to agree the audit terms and conditions and fill out and send an application form in and pay the DVSA an assessment fee of just £151.20. He says with his tongue in cheek, etc., £151.20. When they changed the new audit rules, all these fees seem to have trebled all of a sudden. But £151.20. Now, you will get a pre-assessment phone call, a bit like the new standards check now, where the DVSA will schedule a 30-minute call, and they're going to review training records and other documents. So you will need to have, in preparation for this, things like your structured Part 1 course. What do you use for your structured Part 1 course? What do you use in terms of your money back guarantees for your clients and your pupils, for your trainees, sorry. You know, there are set rules that need to be put down, and you need to offer conditional guarantees, money back guarantees, etc. They will need to look at your training records that you propose to keep and the training records that you are already keeping, feedback, development sheets, etc. The reflective workbooks and things like that you need to see. Now, you may be thinking there's a lot, and if you're with us, we can supply all that for you. If you're, you have a chance with this course to become an affiliate with us if you want. And of course, we can provide all that, and we can look after your pupils for you, your trainees on the Part 1 side, etc. If you want. Anyway, that's another story. So, but you need to produce all your documents for stuff like that. They will go over it and talk to you, and if it's acceptable, they'll move on to the next thing. This says they're including sessions, details, feedback, signatures, very, very important, that people are signing the feedback sheets, you sign, they sign, etc., etc. And then if it's satisfactory, then the practical review will be scheduled. So let's have a look at it, the practical assessment. Right. It's a 1.5 hour long practical assessment. You're going to be looked at your training sessions. You will need to have a trainee with you, okay? And you will be required to act as a learner driver during the session. So during at least some of that session, you will need to offer role play, and it will need to be a very effective role play. And we've talked about this in the previous sessions. And post-assessment afterwards, you will be provided with your results and feedback straight away. You need to get a minimum score of 43 out of 51, so never mind your 31, now you're looking for your 43 is required to pass. And if you're successful, you'll be placed onto the register as an audit trainer. And renewal, when you've done this, you then fill out, and you now need to send in another application. Even though you've done all this, you send in another application to register as the audit trainer. So with your new certificate, you can now register as the audit trainer. You need to declare to them your place of work, whether it's you're working for yourself or another school or me maybe, etc. You declare your place of work. You say what school you were going to be working for. You can work for more than one, by the way. You pay another registration fee of £120. That's on top of the £151.20 you've already paid to the DVSA. And this is just registering you. Now you've got your bright shiny certificate, and it lasts for 4 years, so maybe not so bad. So the registration fee £120, and it lasts for 4 years. Okay, and needs renewal. And the thing I did there, the cost involved there is a covenant here. So remember, it's £151.20 for the initial qualifying assessment. Okay, for the qualifying assessment each time, you need to book one of them. And then you need to register with a training establishment at £120. And if you want to work for several schools, then it's an additional training fee or registration fee of £18. So let's a quick look at the audit, etc. More detail we can give you on the actual assessment, but the lesson itself, you're going to give a proper lesson on a subject containing role play. The examiner is going to need the feedback, see the feedback at the beginning. They're going to look at this story. They're going to look at the reflective log of the trainee. They're going to look that this lesson is part of a story, and this PDI or trainee instructor learns something from the lesson. You then give the appropriate feedback at the end and the advice as to where you're going next. And the examiner really is just looking at that snapshot. And if all satisfactory, you'll be getting your certificate. So you have to fulfill the eligibility and register with DVSA. It enhances your reputation and permits high quality provisions and advertising opportunities. Really, that's where it really is there. Hopefully, I say it was just a quick skip through the audit, and you're clear and you know what's going on there. That's the end of the how to train instructors, that side of things. Now, if you haven't already looked at the 1% series, go through the 1% series. My idea now is you've got your training manuals, you've got your training books. What I would be tempted to do is to, before I do each session, is just come back to the training, the relevant video on what you're doing, and just familiarize yourself with them. Keep using your reflections. Think, what could I do better? What went well? What needed improvement? Who can I ask? Where can I go to? You know, and you just continually get better and better. And there is a group, I say we do the coaching calls on the Wednesday, and if there is enough demand, I'm going to separate them between the audit, or not the audit, but the instructor trainers and the standards check and checklist ones, as we see more demand on this, etc. And I think we're getting there very clearly. In fact, I think many of my Wednesday sessions are attended by training or driving instructor trainers. The driving instructor trainers will obviously be welcome still on the other course, but of course that will be about helping other people, and you as an instructor trainer will probably like to help other people on the course, on the coaching calls. And I said before, you might even pick up training instructors or potential driving instructors who are looking for support and help in your area. So that's right, I've just sort of said all that really. Okay, look at the 1% series. Don't forget the coaching calls. Don't forget you can contact me if you need any help. You've got the bonus series coming up, which is really, really useful. There's a lot of good information in there. Bye for now.